Hey there, welcome to my channel. I am Puddles, and today I'm doing another Mistakes I've Made video. Stories about my games, how I've made mistakes, and the lessons that I've learnt because of said mistakes. In keeping with the theme of these videos, we're going to talk about a player. The the character's name is Arranis. And while the story isn't necessarily revolving around him entirely, he's with the main player, so we'll focus on Arranis for this. Now, it's revolved around him and fighting pits, sort of like your tournament style gladiator pits, underground fighting pits, things like that. I've used them in my games, and basically this is what I've learnt through Arranis' story. So, Arranis, he's a rogue. He's an elf, an assassin. He's a bit of a badass. He joined the party after they dealt with some crime people. He was super secretive, but I guess the best way to describe him would be he was very proud. He thought himself as a badass, and he really wanted to emulate that. Now, he was a part of the original group of players that I started playing D&D with, and early upon arriving into their first major city, I announced that there was a tournament, the Prince's Tournament, and that it was going to be held in the town, and that the players could sign up for the tournament if they had the gold to do so. And it was essentially a fighting pit. It was a 2 versus 2 setup, so the players could team up together. We had 5 players, but for this session, one of our players couldn't make it, so it was perfect. We had two groups that were going to enter this tournament, and it was all in good fun. They all wanted to partake, because who doesn't love a good tournament? And I spent ages creating NPC teams with different classes and races, and had a whole bracket made up, and everything was random. I rolled randomly where the players would be placed in the tournament setting. I had some NPCs which were super badass, and some that were just, pushovers. And I was a newbie back then, so I thought that my players would lose in the brackets to some of my stronger NPCs. But my players were strong. I had some really strong teams, and they both made it to the finals. So the team of Arranis, he was on teams with Grognak, who I've made a video about before, who we all know is very strong. And then we had Lupin and Theolin on another team. So we had a assassin and a barbarian versus a moon druid and a sorceress. So the fight goes off, the whole town is watching them, it all goes splendidly, it's a super close fight. Arranis and Grognak just barely win, defeating Lupin and Theolin, and it was so much fun. It was an amazing session. It was just great. It was probably one of the favorite sessions that I've ever had as a DM, especially as a new DM. It was really, I don't know, there's just something special about that session. And yeah, it was so much fun. Yeah. Now this is me talking about something that I did good and was fun, so where is my mistake? But hold on, we'll get to it. We need to first establish the good thing before I can talk about the bad thing. So fast forward 4 months in the real world, and the original players aren't as available in the game, so I've opened the game up to other players and made it a West Marches campaign. So there's a big player pool, and just whoever is available that week can play. Now, I made a new town, I created different places around the town, and near the town was a trading post. And after a few sessions, I let the players know that in the trading post was an illegal fighting pits. Now, many players would go there. Some would win, some would lose. It was always just for gold. So you'd pay money to get in. People could bet on you and stuff like that. And it was just never as fun as the tournament for reasons I'll get into, but it wasn't a spectacle. It wasn't like the tournament. It was that session. That whole session was about this tournament. Whereas the fighting pits was like almost a distraction from the rest of the campaign. But anyway, back to Arranis. He one day he goes into the fighting pit and he went to fight some vagrant, smelly pirate, and he lost. He should not have lost. It was pretty one-sided in his favor. But he rolled really badly. He just couldn't get the rolls. And now he did not like this. He's a proud guy, like I said. And I had previously alluded to there being underground fights, and that these fights were to the death. And he jumped at the chance to like redeem his honor and. Well, he wasn't really honorable, but he was very prideful. So he needed to mend his broken pride. So he went in and he lost. He went into this fight to the death and he lost. Now, this fight was more balanced than the original one. So there was a stronger opponent, but he still could have won, but he rolled poorly. And so here is Arranis. He's lying dead on the ground, and Lupin, who I mentioned earlier, the druid, she says, screw this. I am not going to watch my friend die, so she ends up breaking the rules of the breaking pit and healing him. Now, the whole room loses their shit. The owner of the trading post has to come down and sort out the kerfuffle as all of these gamblers and fighting pit people are angry at the party, and all hell is about to break loose. It ends up that the trading post owner, He makes a deal, and the group has to pay 2,000 gold to make things right, which is pretty much all the gold they have. The group, and that was pretty much the end of the session, I think. I can't remember too clearly, but they ended up finishing the session, one player losing 2 fights, him dying, another player breaking the rules and healing him, and them losing 2,000 gold. It was just loss after loss after loss. And the group finished the session feeling pretty shitty. And I, as a DM and a person, I felt really shitty. But I think that was a good session. I don't think that was the mistake. I don't think that was a bad session. The players did things that were dangerous. They failed, and there were consequences, and I think that is good. I think everything that happened in that session was great. It really, I don't think that was a mistake. My mistake is of that stupid freaking fighting pit that players would just want to farm gold in while the rest of the party sat around watching. Now, everything I've just described about Arranis and all that stuff, none of that was a mistake. The mistake was having the fighting pit there, always available all the time. Now, the one-time tournament where a whole session gets all the players involved is a whole bunch of fun. But a permanent 1v1 fighting pit that players can go to always are a bad idea, because it's just going to draw certain players to go there and spend half an hour of game time trying to win another match and win another 100 gold, while the other players are just waiting for the real campaign and the real exciting stuff to begin. Now, and there are some players and some characters that aren't interested in fighting pits. So every session when one player would want to go there, the rest of the group they're just watching. They're not actually involved. So that was the mistake, is not involving all of the players in this and having it permanently there so that anyone who wanted to could just go there. I think fighting pits and like gladiatorial tournaments and things like that are really exciting tools when used properly, but very boring if it's just one person swinging against another person and everyone else watching it. And I know this now. So in my future games, if I introduce something like this, I will know ways to maximize the fun. I will know to get everybody involved. I will know to make it about the players and not just the pit itself. And I will know to manage it so that one player isn't just doing something while everyone else is sitting around watching. But that's it. That's my mistake that I made. I tricked you. You thought it was about killing a player, but it wasn't. But I hope it's been insightful. I think fighting pits and that sort of stuff are really fun. They can be if you do it right. And that's it. Boom, we're done. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And look forward to more mistake videos.